So, there's a lot of negative news coming out for the entire crypto market that every Dogecoin holder needs to know. Hi there, welcome to Crypto City, your daily plug for crypto news. Before we dive into the topic of the day, let's raise the crypto army by hitting the like and subscribe button. Without any further ado, let's dive into the topic. There are people saying that the market is going to zero. In this video, I'll look at some data that'll help you decide whether that's true or not. Before we talk about all the warnings, let's look at something really crucial first. So the correlation between Dogecoin and Bitcoin's price currently stands at 0.95. This just means that their trajectory is almost identical. With that being said, let's look at some warnings. The first one comes from the Bank of England Deputy Governor. He said that their price can vary quite considerably and Bitcoins could theoretically or practically drop to zero. I'll tell you about the new data in just a minute, but let's first look at some more recent comments from the higher-ups. So the second warning comes from another Bank of England employee who works in the division of stakeholder and media engagement. He said that only 21 million Bitcoin will ever be created, and that might be worth something. That scarcity is why some people refer to Bitcoin as digital gold. But the very scarcity on which Bitcoin is based might also be its undoing. Its scarcity may even ultimately render Bitcoin worthless. Before I move on to another one, let's look at an interesting fact. The number of times Bitcoin has been pronounced dead has risen to 42 so far in 2021. Basically, people have said Bitcoin is going to zero 42 times this year alone, and as we all know, that hasn't happened yet. This is also interesting, because in 2020 this number stood at just 14. So this means that these higher-ups are genuinely more scared about where Bitcoin is headed from here. Another possibility is that they are just trying to spread fund in the market. The thing is that more and more countries are thinking about regulating crypto, which means that more people will be able to come into the market knowing that it's a safer bet than ever before, so the possibility of Bitcoin or the crypto market going to zero is negligible. Another fascinating thing is that the crypto market has witnessed more growth than ever before in 2021. Bitcoin ROI by Finbolt shows that the return on investment of Bitcoin against the dollar is around 60% year to date. That's simply fascinating. While these officials and experts are now bearish on crypto, millennials are really bullish. According to a recent CNBC survey, the millennial millionaires that hold most of the crypto in circulation aim to acquire more assets by 2022. The report indicates that millennials are now wary of inflation and they realize that it is restricting the growth of the economy. The report also stated that over 80% of millennial millionaires have some resources invested in one form of virtual assets or the other. And only 6% of the participants have said that they would want to sell some of their crypto holdings. The point is that if this group is highly bullish, the chances of crypto going to zero and zero to none now. Let's come back to some more warnings. A senior professor of international trade policy at Cornell University said that the promise of decentralized finance using blockchain technology is a real one. But Bitcoin itself may not last that much longer. Bitcoin's use of the blockchain technology is not very efficient. It uses a validation mechanism for transactions that is environmentally destructive, that doesn't scale up very well given that Bitcoin is not serving well as a medium of exchange. I don't think it's going to have any fundamental value other than whatever investors' faith leads it to have now. He's partly right about it. Bitcoin as a medium of exchange isn't quite scalable because of the high transaction costs, and this is where Dogecoin comes in. Everyone from Mark Cuban to Elon Musk has been pushing Doge as a great medium of exchange because of its ultra-low transaction fees. So the point is that not all bad news for Bitcoin is necessarily bad for Dogecoin too. Dogecoin is here to fill a gaping hole in the crypto market. Even Elon Musk believes it'll do it efficiently. Now let's talk about some genuinely bad news that's creating some fun in the market. The China Net Casting Services Association has recently published a blacklist of 100 topics that online videos should not feature. The shocking part is that they include cryptos. 2 videos promoting decentralized digital money like Bitcoin are now considered off limits by the Chinese censors, and another one came from the United States SEC. So it has postponed deciding the spot Bitcoin applications filed by Grayscale and Akka. The new date for reaching the commission to give its verdict is in February 2022. The notice said something like the commission finds that it is appropriate to designate a longer period within which to take action on the proposed rule change, so that it has sufficient time to consider the proposed rule change and any comments received. It's pretty sad because something like this would have brought a lot of money into the market. And another thing that every Bitcoin and crypto holder needs to know about is the upcoming death cross for Bitcoin. So today Bitcoin's price will experience a death cross. If you don't know, it is a market indicator that occurs when a short-term moving average slips below a long-term moving average. Now the thing I'm worried about is that this bearish crossover between Bitcoin's 20-day and 200-day exponential moving averages hints at a drop toward the 42K level for Bitcoin. In the last 30 days, Bitcoin's price has fallen by nearly 17.50%. The thing is that if Bitcoin falls to 42K because of the high correlation, dogecoin could fall to 14 cents so I think each and every holder needs to be prepared for that. With that said, I'm really optimistic in the mid to long term, and there are several reasons behind. It said Tokyo's biggest financial service firm SBI Group has said that it will now allow general Japanese investors to purchase cryptos via its newly launched crypto asset fund. The fund comprises 7 cryptos including Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin, XRP and Chainlink. Another big news is that Paraguay has green light bill to regulate Bitcoin trading, and mining Senator Fernando Silva Feisty, one of 3 senators sponsoring the legislation, has confirmed the approval on Twitter. Still, we need to remember that Paraguay does not intend to make Bitcoin a legal tender like El Salvador. With that said, I still think it's a really big deal. As I said, things like these will help prevent cryptos like Bitcoin and Doge from falling to zero like those experts are saying. And then another big news is that the number of crypto holders in Serbia has climbed to around 200,000. So Serbia's law on digital assets entered into force at the end of June this year. The legislation recognizes cryptos like Bitcoin as virtual assets, and its provisions define them as digital records of value that can be purchased, sold, transferred, and exchanged. And then there's Slovenia, where over 1,000 locations are accepting various digital currencies right now. Crypto payments are spreading in neighboring Croatia as well, where a leading supermarket chain is now accepting 9 cryptos in its online store. The point is that all this bullish news is going to bring in a lot of money into the market in 2022. With that being said about adoption, another big news comes from Mexico, one of the largest retail stores in Mexico. Electra has announced that it will now start accepting Bitcoin for purchases. If you didn't know, Electra is like the Amazon of Mexico. It allows buyers to shop online for a range of household items, electronics, and personal items, and all this falls under Grupo Electro, which is one of the largest financial and retailing corporations in North America with a market cap of $16.30 billion. So basically, a lot of countries and retail giants are still very bullish on crypto. Now let's talk about warnings again for a minute. The co-founder of crypto-focused hedge fund 3 Arrows Capital said that he is skeptical of Ethereum's long-term dominance over the altcoin marketplace. He said that for the same reasons that Ether gained on Bitcoin over the last year, other networks are now gaining on Ether. So I think that the main reason I see for this is that if you look at average active addresses on Ether, it's not that much higher than 2017. It's not double, for instance. Now I think this is a really bullish sign. If you're thinking about scooping some smaller altcoins right now, there are a couple of solid altcoins apart from Dogecoin that you can check out right now. So the second largest Ethereum whale on record has just executed a massive altcoin purchase according to whale watching platform WhaleStats. He bought $4.2 million worth of Layer 2 scaling solution Polygon and $3 million worth of blockchain indexing protocol called the Graph. This massive address holds just above $3.8 billion in overall crypto assets, including nearly 50,000 each worth $1.92 billion, 38.7 million FTX tokens worth $1.47 billion, and $105 million worth of stable coin Tether. So these are the ones I think you need to keep an eye on. Now let's come back to Dogecoin. So currently Dogecoin is trading at around 17 cents. As you can see, we're back in the green again because of all the things I mentioned in today's video, especially Dogecoin's low transaction fees. I think Dogecoin is heading up in the long run. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on bell notifications.